So we will start with Mr. Sunil Jain in the machinery sector. Mr. Sunil Jain is the president of Raju Engineers, a truly homegrown plastic processing machine building industry, a company with a large international footprint through their exports across the globe to over 60 countries, including Western Europe. The company is also renowned for its innovative and agile business approach. Raju Engineers supply equipment for extrusion, thermoforming, melt blowing, and many other segments, offering advanced technologies. As a matter of fact, Raju is one company where you can bring your problem and they will find a solution, design a machine and manufacture. With an experience of over 40 years in the plastics and packaging industry, currently he is president of the company and executive director of Raju Engineers Limited, a global player, as I said. In his earlier assignment, he was the general manager of operations of Paharpur Industries, which was also a pioneering company in the country in their business. First in the woven sector and also later on in the flexible packaging sector. And then he was technical director at General Printers in Kenya, and he is currently the honorary treasurer and governing council member of Plastic Machinery Manufacturers Association of India, and is a member of governing body and vice chairman of India's Indian Institute of Packaging under the Ministry of Commerce. So Sunil ji, it's all yours now. Please go ahead and give us your views.
Being in the machinery industry and focusing on extrusion, so I will limit myself to extrusion, primarily blown film and sheet extrusion. So what I will talk about in the next 4-5 minutes are just pointers. I don't think we have time to get into specific technologies. When we started in the industry, the blown film machines were, let's say, 100 and 150 kg per hour. And today the trend is for high output lines, both in terms of width and output levels. We are looking at 1 ton per hour. And we at Raju Engineers have even delivered a machine of 4.2 meters width with 1.2 tons per hour. And same holds good for even sheet extrusion. Earlier it used to be 100 kgs per hour, but now we're talking about 1 ton per hour and above. Again, we were talking about the layers with the polymers being available and with the properties being demanded by the market and by the industry. And as Rakesh ji rightly said, we machinery manufacturers have to continuously cope up with the challenge of the end users, the packaging material consumers, and the packaging material manufacturers. So the blown film now started off with 3 layers, then 5 layers, 7 layers, and today we're talking about 9 layers and even more. So it does help in customizing the film. And as Pilleji mentioned, all the time we do not have to use more expensive materials and more materials. By increasing the number of layers, certainly the source reduction can happen. Let's talk about sustainability. A lot of it was talked about. And today the trend is to go in for film structures which are monopolymer, same family based, whether we talk about PP, we talk about polypropylene, and also we talk about recycling and using barrier polymers which are less than 5% in terms of the total content of the structure. The European Commission talks about using 5% or less than 5% barrier materials so that it is more easily recyclable. Another trend which has become prevalent today is downward extrusion. Normally blown films are upward extrusion. Downward extrusion is a technology where the film is blown from top to bottom and it is quenched in water instead of air. And it's something which is 20-year-old technology, and we at Raju Engineers made the highest capacity downward extrusion lines. That was a single layer. But now the trend is for 5-layer and 7-layer lines. It gives you excellent barrier properties. It gives you very good clarity and high strengths. The extruders have to be redesigned because polymers are changing every day. New polymers are coming up. Earlier it was butene, then octene, then metallocene, and God knows what all things are coming up. So we as a machinery manufacturer have to keep developing extruders, the screws, which can comfortably handle a range of polymers, not specific to a single polymer, but it can handle a range of polymers. Another technology which is gaining acceptance in the world is MDO. We all have heard of bio-oriented BOPP or BOPET, but now there is a technology of MDO, which is machine direction orientation. So basically, you're taking a thick film and thinning it down maybe 7 times, 10 times to make it very, very thin and still be able to improve the strength and the barrier properties. So this is a technology currently very capital intensive, but a couple of machines have already come into the country, and we at Raju Engineers are also working on it and to make it more commercially viable. When we talk about sheet extrusion, again, earlier it used to be only polypropylene or HIPS, but now there's a demand for barrier sheets, which means sheets which have a layer of nylon or EVOH, so that the barrier properties are improved. This is becoming more prevalent because a lot of people want ready to cook or ready to eat foods, and the supermarkets are coming up. There's so much of e-commerce today that people are sitting at home and want ready to cook or ready to eat food being delivered. So the trays, which are thermoformed from a barrier sheet, which is using polypropylene and using nylon and EVOH, that is also coming up very well. Another technology which has been there for quite some time, but now becoming more prominent, is extrusion coating and lamination. It's not exactly a replacement for solventless or solvent-based lamination, but it is a corollary or complementary to solvent-based or solventless lamination. The advantages being that there's no curing time, the turnaround is much faster, the barrier properties also go up, and the ink consumption goes down. When we talk about sustainability, Subodhji did mention about energy efficiency. This is a challenge for machinery manufacturers like us. We need to understand when you talk about processing or any other plastic product, polymer is something where prices are not under your control. And the second most important component is energy, electricity. So we as machinery manufacturers have to keep on improving our technologies so that the energy consumption keeps coming down. Basically, what one is trying to do is use the frictional energy in the extruders and keep reducing the heat energy. So that is something which is becoming very, very important. Subodhji and Pilleji also mentioned about automation. Yes, very, very important. Once you increase the output levels, once you increase the output levels and the widths, it cannot be really handled manually. So the systems need to become process-driven. Automation to be used to a great extent through remote servicing, bringing Industry 4, the objective being to reduce wastage, reduce manpower. We talk about social distancing, reducing less people. It becomes more process-driven and less dependent on manpower and human skills. I remember as a machinery manufacturer, we had a great responsibility of servicing the machines during the pandemic. We have machines, I do remember 4 months back, we commissioned a machine in Ecuador, far away in Ecuador, just through remote support. So that's becoming important. And as rightly mentioned, IT is becoming very, very important just now. And we as machinery manufacturers need to keep on integrating the IT technologies which are available today and are developing very fast with the objective of looking after our customers. So these are basically just pointers, food for thought to give you a flavor of the direction in which the extrusion technology is headed towards. Thanks very much. I hope I've been able to keep the time. Thank you.